Hi, my name is Nur Inta Syafiqah binti Azhar, and today's discussion that I will be talking about is a current issue in talent acquisition. The issue that I will discuss about is a journal from International Journal of Management Perspective and Social Research. The journal was written and published by Shahzada Azam Khan Alwi, a research scholar and manager for pharmacy from OMI Hospital, and Dr. Zobia Zaman, trainer at IQCS Innovative Solutions from South Australia. The title for the journal is Analyze the extent to which favoritism is present in recruiting and selection. So the main point of the whole journal is basically discussing on how managers could be affected by favoritism and how they handle or cope with favoritism in recruitment in Pakistan. So firstly, as we know, human resource managers are the ones responsible for the recruitment and selection process. In every recruitment and selection process, usually human resource managers should choose the best candidates possible to hire for the company. The selection of the candidates should be through the screening process, which includes gathering resumes, testing applicants, conducting interviews, and etc. However, in the process of hiring and selecting, it cannot be denied that there are managers who treat other candidates unfairly by showing favoritism towards their friends and other candidates when it comes to hiring and selecting. This journal also talks about how managers give preference to family, relatives, and friends in an organization in which the topic of nepotism and cronyism has been discussed. So what is actually nepotism and what is cronyism? So according to Cambridge Dictionary, nepotism is defined as using your power or influence to get good jobs or unfair advantages for members of your own family. Meanwhile, cronyism defines as the situation in which someone important gives jobs to friends rather than to independent people who have the necessary skills and experience. So this nepotism has happened for a long time, and a lot of managers do not realize that showing favoritism in an organization towards your family members and friends could lead to a lot of issues. So one of the issues could be issues in family businesses. If the managers hired only those of family members out of faith without seeing their qualifications, the organization might come to a failure at one point of time due to incapability of the family members to handle the company. And also the employees in the company could feel demotivated and lose their determination to work for the company. And this will result in turnover rate, and the company might not get to achieve their goals in a certain period of times. So next, in this journal, it discusses about two kinds of communal norms that might be the reasons on why managers could be affected by favoritism. So firstly, from communities and social obligation, as well as community obligations and also social ties. The journal points out that the researchers recognizes and discusses on how these community logics affect or shape someone's actions and behavioral that could lead to favoritism. So how can communities and social obligations or community obligations and social ties basically make the managers be affected to favoritism? So basically, institutional logics built on interrelated sets of symbolic meaning systems and material practices that are rooted in specific social domains, such as the family, religion, or also the market. As a result, the institutional logics from different social domains can provide conflicting and incompatible rationales for decision making and also identity construction. In addition, the social cues literally highlights that interactions with network members serve as contextual cues that activate the schemata, logics, and also frames embedded in local networks. So when interactions take place in a certain context, such as when we meet colleagues at work or family members at home, the logics evoked by those interactions are largely congruent with the situational context and are likely to reinforce expected identities and action frames. Therefore, it is anticipating social cues that invoke the identities, obligations, interests, and action repertoires inherent in a community to be provided during the recruitment and selection procedures while working with members of that community. So using this knowledge can be better comprehend how managers perceive and respond to social norms of bias in the hiring and also selection processes. Other than that, this journal also highlights two solutions or factors that makes managers can handle these communal norms of favoritism during recruitment and selection. So, firstly, the factors is immediacy. Immediacy is commonly captured by distinguishing between direct and indirect ties. Direct ties is basically direct personal relationships among members of a network. Meanwhile, indirect ties are relationships among network members, but they are mediated by other ties. This basically means that the presence of direct ties and also the indirect ties can eventually help to control the feeling of favoritism towards family and friends, and thus lead to a fair hiring and recruiting for other candidates. Secondly, relatedness. In this case, while managers interviewing candidates from different kind of backgrounds, though they are unrelated by blood, the managers might feel somewhat related and connected with the candidates. However, this is not oftenly happen because the feeling of relatedness usually must be coming from within inside for them to feel the relatedness. So next, by the end of the article, the data that has been collected from different level of managers was shown, and the result to the data is that managers in Pakistan tend to favor more of their families and distant relatives, even though they are not qualified for the jobs. On the other hand, they also tend to avoid hiring friends and unknown candidates to work in the organization. So to conclude, as managers, it is very important for them to be fair and square towards all of the candidates that came to secure jobs. It takes them money and time for them to make it to the interview session. And if they know that the managers will be choosing someone from their own relatives, it is basically crashing their dream for the job that they are already hoping for. So not only that, it will also make them losing their determination, and they will feel demotivated for the next interview session. So last but not least, every manager in the world, in my opinion, should be choosing candidates wisely, as it is not only for benefiting them in the future, but also the success for the organization in the future.